You're 17 when you first feel the burn of a kitchen that isn't your own. Not the cozy hum of a family stove, but the heavy, oppressive heat that clings to your skin like a second layer. The hiss of oil, the slap of a spatula against a metal grill, the sting of steam on your face. You're washing dishes at first, but you linger near the cooks. You watch their hands, fast, sure, almost inhuman in their efficiency. It looks like skill. It looks like belonging. The first time a cook calls out, they pull you onto the line. The station is a narrow slot between a lowboy and the flat top. The counter is slick. The chef's voice is a whip. Move faster. Panic and purpose flood you at the same time. The printer chatters, the tickets curl from the heat of the pass, and you learn, too quickly, that hesitation is a luxury this room doesn't offer. In the early days, pride is surviving a shift. Your back aches, your legs hum, your knuckles split from scrubbing pans. You memorize the menu, learn the timing of every dish, stack orders in your head like puzzle pieces. You stop noticing when you skip a meal. You come home smelling so thick of grease you can't stand your own shirt. But you're faster now. You're better. You belong. Belonging in a kitchen isn't a welcome, it's a surrender. The heat becomes part of you. You learn which burns blister and which ones you can ignore. Shoes don't last. Soles polish smooth from oil and movement. Your hands are always nicked, always sore. Fresh laundry never smells clean, just less like last night. At first, you call it a badge of honor. Later, it's just erosion. You're 19 the first time you feel the burn that clings long after the shift is over. Not a quick sting from a pan, but a deep, seared ache that starts in your forearms and settles into bone. You stand under a buzzing fluorescent in the back prep room, wrist under lukewarm water that barely runs, watching the angry red rise and darken. Out front, the fryer hisses and pans clatter against steel. You don't move for a full minute, because you know the second you push back through that swinging door, the heat will slam into you again. And there's no escape until the last ticket is called. At first, you tell yourself it's dues. The heat, the burns, the cuts. Proof you belong here. The way the knife sits in your palm lighter each week as your body learns the muscle memory of a perfect dice without looking. Your friends flip burgers at chains. You're in a real kitchen. Food that matters, at least to the people paying for it. The chef screams sometimes, but when he nods once, you feel knighted. You think about climbing, sous chef, maybe head chef. Your name on a menu, your plates in magazines. It feels far away, but possible. You don't notice the trade you're already making. Time, weekends, holidays, sanity, handed over a shift at a time. Winter passes in a blur of steam and sweat. Doubles stack until your days off feel strange, like your body forgot how to idle. You fall asleep to phantom printers spitting orders. You wake with garlic and onions still in your skin, even after 3 showers. The kitchen becomes your entire world. The narrow line between the grill and the prep table. The sticky patch near the fryer where oil splashes and never quite leaves. The clock you avoid because it only disappoints. The heat that soaks in until you're numb to it, but never immune. The machine is older than you, not just the ovens, though half should have been retired a decade ago. The system, the choreography, no pause, no catch-up, no room for mistakes. An invisible clock that doesn't care how fast you are, only that you're faster. Tickets slide in a tidy line at first, then they stack. The paper curls, smudged with grease where someone's thumb held too long. The floor manager shouts 20 on the books, but it might as well be 100. Once the rush starts, it doesn't stop. You're not making food anymore. You're moving. Grab, chop, sear, plate. Your senses narrow to survival. The smells layer, onions sweetening on the flat top, the metallic tang of blood off a steak, bitter smoke from chicken forgotten under the broiler. Steam fogs your face. Oil freckles your wrists. Your jacket, clean an hour ago, clings with sweat and sanitizer and meat and bread. Your tools become extensions, the knife with the handle worn to your grip, the bent ladle, the tongs that never close quite right, the cutting board scar where you missed and buried the blade. Not pretty, barely functional, but they're yours. For 12 hours straight, you start counting your day in burns. Tiny kisses from the sauté rim, a deep welt from boiling stock, a back twinge from one more crouch to the low boy. By 30, numb spots bloom on your fingertips. Easier that way. The hierarchy is carved in steel. The chef's voice cuts like a cleaver. The sous, clipped and cold. The expo doesn't shout. He slices with corrections, single words that leave dents. You say it's craft, earning respect. But some nights, trudging home in a jacket glued to your skin, legs shaking, you wonder if respect is really the point. The pay never matches the work. $15 an hour in a city where rent swallows half your check. One bad week, a busted fridge that wipes your prep. A slow stretch where tips vanish and you're behind. You try to ignore it. Focus on the music. That one perfect rhythm where the kitchen hits flow and everything lands hot and right at the pass. But the music ends. The silence afterward is deafening. It starts small, a wrist pain flaring when you torque a stubborn lid. You tell yourself it's overuse. It'll pass after a day off. Except there are no real days off. You're understaffed. Someone calls out. The text lands. Can you cover? You say yes because you know the other side of desperation. The ache lingers. You change your grip, alter your stir. The body remembers every strain repeated 1,000 times without rest. One day you realize you've forgotten what it feels like to wake without hurting. The money adds its own grind. 2 checks a month look okay. Until rent, utilities, transit, the insult of buying groceries after feeding strangers all week. You promise to save next month. Next month never starts. The restaurant takes and takes and takes. Time, body, weekends, holidays. And you give, because somewhere along the way, you stopped believing another option exists. The first collapse has a date, but you don't name it. A Thursday, mid-shift, the room at full boil. Voices up, plates clattering, the hiss of meat hitting heat. 4 hours of sleep and too much coffee. Expo calls a complicated order, 2 mods, 1 special request, and you freeze for a second. Long enough. A pan burns. A ticket dies on the rail. The chef's voice isn't loud, just sharp enough to leave a mark. Get it together. You swallow, nod, keep moving. Something inside slides out of place and doesn't slide back. Then the false dawn. Lead for dinner service. A small raise. For a while, it feels like progress. People look to you. You move with purpose. Maybe the grind was worth it. Then the hours swell. The mistakes of others are yours to own. The bump evaporates under unpaid overtime. Praise is fleeting. You're only as good as your last flawless service. The next night resets the score to 0. The ledger grows body, wrists taped under sleeves, knees popping with every squat to the low boy. A lower back that never unclenches. A shirt soaked through by hour 3. Heat at 90 in winter, a furnace in summer. Burns quilt your hands. Scars never fully fade. You don't register new cuts until blood dots the board. Mind, a metronome of panic, endless sequencing. Fire now, plate now, wipe now, refire now. Even at home, you can't turn it off. You dream in orders. You wake certain you missed a pickup. The phantom printer hum follows you down the street. Money, savings is a rumor. Sick, fewer hours. Slow week, fewer hours. Margins as thin as the houses. One surprise expense puts you under. You learn to live without. Vacations, new clothes, no to shifts you don't want. Time, not yours. Nights, weekends, holidays, gone. Birthdays happen without you. Friends stop inviting. The only people you see are sweating beside you. Those bonds are built on stress and smoke breaks. Outside, they fade. Relationships. Partners wear out on your schedule. You get home too late to talk, too tired to listen. Days off are for recovery, not connection. The people you love flatten into names on a phone you keep meaning to call back. By now, you're not a person to the owners. You're a rate, plates per hour, errors per night. A spreadsheet cell. The better you do, the more they expect. There's no finish line, only the next rush. Another kind of collapse arrives quiet. Half the kitchen calls out. You're covering 2 stations. Muscle memory takes over, burgers flipping while vegetables saute, sweat in your eyes. You grab a hot pan barehanded. The pain is instant and deep. You wrap it and keep moving because stopping isn't an option. By the time you get home, a blister is blooming. You'll work through it. You always work through it. And then the second collapse, the real one, close to midnight. You're alone in the back wiping stainless. The hood hums. Your reflection stares back. Eyes flat, hair plastered. You try to remember what you wanted before this. Nothing comes. You stand there holding a rag, realizing your identity is built on being indispensable in a place that would replace you by next week. You think about walking out. You don't. You finish wiping the counter. The kitchen is its own small world, and you know every sound by heart. The walk-in's low hum, the salamander's metallic rattle, the mixer's high-pitched whine right before it complains. You know the sticky floor seam near the fryer. You know the scent of meat hitting steel and the constant undertow of scorched bread. You measure life not by sunrise or season, but by lunch rush, dinner rush, brunch. Everything else is recovery or prep. The printer is your heartbeat. Tickets are commands. You obey. At some point, you stop being a name and become a station. No one asks, "Where's Alex?" They ask, "Who's on Sauté?" You step in because that's what you do. You stop noticing it. You stop questioning it. Until the silence after service stretches long enough to scare you. Who are you without the heat, the rush, the constant push of service? You've been this so long, the answer terrifies you. You tell yourself you'll figure it out one day, but not tonight, not tomorrow, maybe never. And that's why it sucks to be a chef in a busy kitchen. You know the rhythm of the rail, the language of burns, the math of tickets that never stop. You've traded your hands, your weekends, your holidays to keep plates moving and guests satisfied. If you're ready to learn a different set of tools, ones that don't blister, don't scream, and actually belong to you, check the links in the description. I'll show you how to build a faceless YouTube channel, your own station online where you set the hours, plate your ideas once, and let them keep serving. Step out of the kitchen, keep your craft, take back your time.